Right, Mini. So we've got to fix the Mini today. We've got this cat that's joined us. Don't know where the cat's come from. Neighbour's cat. Anyway, it's going to help me on the Mini, which is weird. Right, so on my own today, it's the weekend. So we failed the MOT. So we got to look at the horn, we've got to look at the offside, and we've got to look at the wheel bearing. Today we are going to look at the near side front wheel bearing. Has got excessive play. Near side. This one, the cat's ready. Right, let's get it jacked up and get that wheel off. I don't know what the bit of wire's doing. Problem, the Mini went in for a recall for its turbo. And since then, the locking wheel nut's been missing. Whether it was Mini, Swindon, I've no idea. But now I've got to weld that wheel nuts. If I weld, because this outer bit rotates, the middle bit is what we need to undo, but I've got no key. So I'll put some tape. I'm going to weld the middle to the outside and then see if I can hammer a socket on. Joy. Right, so there we go. I've welded that big bolt on there now. And that seems to have undone it. So I welded the middle to the outside, then got that nut on there. Hopefully I haven't damaged the wheel too much. So I had to weld that and then as best I could. But I think the heat helped it, and I've got copper grease on there. Thank goodness for that. Right, let's get on. Jacked up, wheel off, safely on an axle stand. Now, there's more play on that than there should be. So let's whip that. Now, is that clockwise or anti-clockwise thread? Let's try conventional. Oh, that's loose. There you go. Right, but yeah, worth sticking your screwdriver in there because it will stop it all spinning, as you can see. Right, let's whip that caliper off. Right, 1 15/16. I don't think that's quite right, but it did the job on that big one. Right, and what we're on with those caliper nuts at the back, 16mm. So these are the ones under the back here. So I've just loosened them off. You got that one there, and then that one there at the top. Hope it comes out on my tricky glasses. Oh. Right, let's whip those two off. Watch those. Don't want to strain those cables there. We'll get a cable tie and prop it up there, out of the way. Bad boy Torx T50. Might have been easier to take this off while I had the caliper on. I could have had that screwdriver in there. There you go. He's going. Simon, the human impact driver. Right. Right, how's that cat doing? Having an explore. What's happening, cat? Right, this is the new one we've been sent. We've ordered off the internet. Should we have a look at this one, see what this one's like? Now, I think we can see what we've got to do. We've got to work out how to get in the box there. We've got loads of stuff there. We've got it in the bag. There we go. So you can see you get the whole drive flange, hub, the whole kit and caboodle. The drive shaft's going to go in there. So you can see it's these bolts here that we're going to... So let's get some WD-40 on those. Otherwise the dirt on them will jam up as we get it out. Now, the MOT guy did say one's missing. We've got one missing down there. So let's whoop this out. See what's... Now, I think we can leave the drive shaft there. Just get them in with an extension. Also in the kit we get a new hub nut, and we also get some new drive bolts, which will be quite handy. Do they look about right? They look about right. Look at these at the back. So I've got my head torch on, so hopefully it'll help. Right, so that's where we had the one missing. So they're 14mm. Get that up across the back there. Okay, and you can just get it in. I've gone for the slightly smaller socket set, because it gives you a bit more room. There you go. Past that one there. Right. So that's the bolt you're looking at removing. You don't look too bad at all. Right, let's get on and get those other two. I'm going to get this top one in, but I'll just show you there is room. Now you may be able to turn your wheel a bit to get you a bit better. But there you go, I loosened him. But, you got a little bit of wiggle in that drive shaft. Right, so let's have a look if this is going to come out now. Sorry, you can't get back. There you go. don't think that was just going to fall off on its own. But I appreciate you telling me, BMW. I know you had my safety. Yeah, but there's loads of wiggle in that. So let's just check the new one all looks the same. And then we're all back on. It's all pretty sweet, isn't it? Make sure that stays central up there, look. Oh, we got a little, what's that little, it's a little dog there. I don't know what that's supposed to do. I think that's probably the end stop, isn't it? Or a scraper to scrape that clean. Copper greased up the drive shaft. That's all cool. So obviously you can see there's a shorter distance and a longer distance. The longer distance there. So let's get that over there. I'm going to leave that top bolt. You can see I'm not worried about him staying. All right, so you can see it sits on a little ledge. So let's get that there. All right, now is that lined up? Because this, I guess, rotates. Let's have a look. That all looks good. So let's see if the bolts line up. So the new bolts are 16mm head on them, and it's a bit harder to get them in. So I've put the car on full lock, and you can see that gives me a bit more room. So I've got those, that one in, and that top one in. That top one was tricky, but there is enough room with that 16mm to get it in. Right, the top one the other side, I'll spin it the other way for that. Right, a little trick, just checking the new bolts are the same thread, because they could have put a different thread in that hub there. But if the threads interlock, like they do there, look, you've got a good chance they're the same thread. But this one's going to be a lot easier to get in. I'm not sure how critical that spacer is. They've obviously gone to some expense to put that spacer there, but I'm going to chance it. Let's see if we can get this one in. Yep, so sorry everybody, I'm using the original one, but I'm happy to see him. Look at him come through there. Right, brake pads all look fine. Plenty of wear on those two, so they'll be okay. We'll get the brake disc on and get those calipers on. Make sure you get that countersunk hole lined up with that one there. That all goes on there nicely. Let's get that Torx nut back on there, bolt. Right, bit of copper grease on him. Get that seated on there. Right, he's good enough on there now for the minute. We'll get him a bit tight and we've got the caliper back on. So grab the caliper bolts. I'll put a bit of copper grease on those. They look like they had some on before. Oh no, that's going to make a mess on my floor. Right, let's get that on. That one out. That one at the bottom. Okay. Let's get those tight. Right, that's those tight. I think we're ready for the wheel back on and check it all looks good. Right, remember to do up that Torx bolt, which you can put the screwdriver in through the disc to do that. Right, there you go. So you're looking for no play now, but it should obviously rotate freely, but there's zero play in that. So there you go, he's going to be handling like he's on rails. Right, let's finish the video with the Mini the right way around, shall we? Right, good luck with that.